Greetings folks! Today we are going to be doing an unboxing and short review of the Cygolite Hotshot Pro 200, and we'll be comparing it with the Lezyne Strip Pro 300. Let's take a look. Alrighty then, well this video started out to be basically a review of the Cygolite Hotshot Pro 200, but it turned into more of a shootout between the Cygolite and the Lezyne Strip Pro 300. Anyway, let's take a look at the Cygolite first. I'm unboxing it here, and the light makes a good first impression. It's a very well made piece of equipment. Feels sturdy, nothing cheap about it. Comes with a adjustable mount on the rear there, which I liked, which the Lezyne does not have. Tighten that screw down and apparently that's not going to move. Of course, it comes with your USB recharging cable and the rubber band that attaches it to your seat post. There are two different models of the Cygolite Hotshot Pro 200. This one comes with this rubber band attachment so that you can use it on aero seat posts, and it's a little bit more flexible in the type of thing you can attach it to. And then there's the standard mount, which is a plastic unit which actually screws onto the seat post with a screw, tightens down there. It's a little bit more of a permanent situation. I've used this type of rubber band attachment on the Lezyne for almost a year now, and I haven't had any problems with it falling off or breaking or anything, so I have no problem with these rubber band attachments. These are the instructions, and of course we don't look at those. I was curious as to whether the light came charged, and there it goes. It did come with a charge, but I wouldn't recommend trying to use it out of the box on your bike. You should fully charge it, and they recommend 5 hours for charging on this light. There are 6 different lighting modes on the Cygolite. This is the steady. This is what they call the zoom. This is the triple flash. This is the steady pulse. This is the day lightning. And this is the random flash. The tempos on all these flashes are adjustable, and the light features something they call adaptive flash, which is supposed to change brightness depending on the outside light. Here's a direct close-up comparison of the Cygolite Hotshot Pro 200 and the Lezyne Strip Pro 300. These are both in their daylight flash modes. It's a little bit difficult to see what's going on here because the Cygolite is creating a flash that's only showing up in a sort of ambient fashion. You can't really see the original pulse from the Cygolite for some reason, but we'll have a better comparison of these two side by side a little later on. The rubber band type attachments on both units seem very sturdy to me, not like something that's going to snap or break, at least in the short term. As you can see, the Lezyne band is a little bit wider and thinner, while the Cygolite band has a little bit thicker rungs. One of the features I really like about the Cygolite is this angle adjustment here. You loosen the screw and then you can change the angle of the light. This is actually possibly more important with the Cygolite than the Lezyne, which you'll see a little bit later on. When the Cygolite is recharging, it flashes like this. And when it is finished charging, it flashes a solid light. The Lezyne has a small green LED in the corner that flashes, and when fully charged, also becomes a solid light. Okay, now for the side-by-side shootout. Here we are at about 25 yards at night, both lights in the daylight flash mode. The Lezyne is on the left, and the Cygolite is on the right. Looking at this in real life, it appeared that the Cygolite on the right may have been a slight bit brighter, but the large bursts out of the Lezyne on the left seemed more visible. I think this is because the Lezyne spreads the light over a wider area. This is a direct comparison of the two lights in freeze frame with the Cygolite on the right and the Lezyne on the left. Now, both lights look equally as bright, but notice down on the ground on the left under the Lezyne how much more light is hitting the ground. This is when I first determined that the Lezyne does have a much wider spread to its light. Okay, these are some indoor tests we did in the dark with the Cygolite Hotshot on the left and the Lezyne on the right. Notice that even though the individual Cygolite flashes appear brighter, when the Lezyne throws that one bright flash, the entire room is illuminated. Again, this points to the fact that the Lezyne is throwing out a much wider pattern of light. Here's a still of the two lights in action side by side with the Lezyne on your right and the Cygolite on your left. Look behind the Lezyne, you can actually see the room behind the light is illuminated. So we decided to test the beam width on the two lights with the Lezyne on top and the Cygolite on the bottom here. And as you can see, at this point, the Lezyne is really doing a much better job of throwing light out to the side. This is a test that was done in direct daylight at around 12 yards with the Cygolite on the right and the Lezyne on the left. In real life, the Cygolite was making much more of a dramatic impression on the eyes. I don't know if you can really tell in the video here, but in bright daylight, the Lezyne was coming off as a bit anemic, at least in comparison to the Cygolite. Here we wanted to test the off-axis visibility, so we started with the Cygolite and slowly turned it off to the side. Right about there at 30 degrees, you can see the light dropped off rather dramatically, and by the time you hit 45 degrees, it was almost not visible at all. Here's the same test with the Lezyne. It did a dramatically better job of maintaining brightness as you moved it off to the side, although initially it was not as bright as the Cygolite. So what have we learned? Both lights appear to me to be equally as well made, and I suspect I'll get the same usage out of both of them. I don't expect anything to go wrong. I don't expect the rubber bands to bust with normal use. If you're looking at sheer brightness, I think that the Cygolite is the winner in that capacity. It seemed to me with the naked eye to be purely a brighter, more attention-getting light. I suspect part of the reason for this may be the fact that the Cygolite appears to have a large reflector behind the light, while the Lezyne just has a strip of LEDs. The Lezyne did have one big advantage over the Cygolite, however, and that was the beam width, which does make the Lezyne much more visible from off-angle viewing, which may make the whole contest a wash. I guess what we need is a light with the intense brightness of the Cygolite and the side visibility of the Lezyne. Hey, let me know if you find one, and as always, good riding.